Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is a man who has been so self-made they'll write stories about and tell tales about that people will hopefully get to follow in his footsteps for generations to come. An American dream story. Hates hearing all of those things every time we say it, but the bastard needs to realize he done good. President of the UFC, which is hosting his Nocha this weekend at the Sphere in Las Vegas, a love letter to Mexican combat sports with a headline of Sugar Sean. Ladies and gentlemen, Dana White.
Yeah!
Good morning, boys. How are you?
I'm in South Carolina. It's not as hot as you would think, but it is certainly, a little thick down here. How are you doing, brother?
I'm good. It's what's crazy here is there's big fires in California and all the smoke's blowing over into Vegas. So that's been happening here for like 3 days. Been pretty crazy.
The AQI, is that what it's called? The the Air Quality Index.
Yep.
We got hit with that in Indianapolis. We're coughing it up. And I'm a guy who smokes a pretty good amount of stuff. And the AQI was kind of battling all of our lungs. Hope you guys are okay over there. Let's talk about tomorrow night happening over there at that Las Vegas Sphere. We had a chance to chat with you at I think one of the very beginning of the entire Noche celebration at the Sphere. You immediately went to U2 and you came on our show. And you said, sitting in that Sphere, I just thought to myself, I could put on the greatest live event in the history of combat sports here. Now there's a fluctuating number between 40 to 60 million being floated out there of how much money you've invested in this show tomorrow that is going to be one of a kind in a one-time only type celebration for you. How do you feel now that we're, one day out from it? All the hard work's paying off, and what should we expect tomorrow?
Yeah, 20 million. If it was 40 to 60 million, I'd be jumping off the Sphere. It's 20 million. It's been great. Last night was our first. I was in there last night at 2:00 in the morning, and last night was our first full rehearsal run through. And guys, I'm telling you, it's going to be incredible. I'm really happy with where we're at. The show has already been a huge success. The gate's going to come in between 22.5 and 23 million. And we did the most pre-buys of all time for any UFC event for Noche already. So I am ready to roll.
This guy's a promoter. This guy is a promoter.
Yeah,
Before the show even starts, nobody has a clue what the hell it is. We've already got the money back for the entire thing, and obviously the fighters are going to show up. But if you can remind us, and I know you've had to talk about it all week, so I appreciate you joining us here on this Friday for your 30th interview about it. We got movies happening, telling stories about the beginnings and history of Mexican fighting pretty much on Mexican Independence Day, which, shout out to you. I think educating a lot of people on when Mexican Independence Day, Cinco de Mayo, I think everybody was thinking to themselves. But tomorrow's movie, fight, whole evening of basically entertainment and storytelling.
Yeah, so this is the first time that the entertainment and sports truly come together. And, when you get in there, when the main card starts, that begins my love letter to Mexico, their contribution to combat sports, their history of combat in Mexico. When you think about the Mexican people, their culture, we'll talk about their culture, who they are as a people, where they came from. So the first fight of the night begins at the beginning of time. The main event will end in the future of Mexico. And there's this, it's a movie, and there are chapters to the movie, and it will end in these worlds, we call them. And each fight will happen in a different world throughout the show.
Okay, so 10 p.m. Eastern start, and this is going to be okay, so how long of a program we're running here, you think, if you were to guesstimate?
It's a regular pay-per-view. It starts at 10 o'clock on the East Coast, and will end at 1.
Okay, so great. I'm going to go no sleep into NFL Sunday. I appreciate you, Dana. Thanks, Dana. Can't wait. Sounds like it's going to be a must-watch situation. Go ahead,
well,
AJ.
for you people at home, the hardest part of this thing, there's a director. His name's Glenn Weiss, and he's done all the big shows, all the big award shows. What he's going to be trying to do on Saturday night is give you people at home, or if you're watching in a bar or wherever, the feeling of being in the Sphere. So there's going to be an in-house live event like every Saturday, an event that we beam around the world, and then Glenn Weiss will have to shoot this thing he'll be shooting both and trying to give you that Sphere experience at home. So that's what we're trying to pull off on Saturday night, amongst a million other things.
So my wife and I are already prepared. We got a fan with a mister, set up next to the TV.
Smart.
So we'll get the full sphere experience. We rented one of those vibrating beds. You put a fucking quarter in, the thing starts going. So
I
we're
bet
gonna be
you
in
did.
there with you. Yeah, okay, watch it, Dana. AJ's got a question for you.
Dana, I'm one of those people that already I pre-bought this thing. You guys are doing something where you're showing it on ESPN in some kind of crazy high res. I think that hasn't happened before, correct?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, this show, the filming of this show and the movie that will happen in there is when you think of when I went to U2 and I looked at this thing and I realized, U2 was first. So these guys had to go in and figure this thing out to ever do an event there. I said, we will come in and use the full capabilities of the Sphere. This place is as far as technology goes, I believe that this is a game-breaking event because a game-changing event because you will see other arenas now starting to incorporate entertainment in sports, whether they build new arenas or they're refurbishing the old ones. When you go to a basketball game, they got the mascot dunking at halftime off a trampoline and stuff like that. There's so much more that you could possibly do when they build these new arenas.
Boomer for the Indiana Pacers. I think he is like 1,000 out of his last 1,000 whoop-de-woos off of the trampoline dunk at halftime. Excited to see if anybody can do the Sphere stuff. Sugar Sean O'Malley in the main event. How easy of a decision was that for this particular evening? And how awesome is it that you have another bona fide star, superstar that's younger?
Yeah, it's incredible. No, all these guys that are on this card, every fight on this card means something in that division, and are people that we're looking to be somebody in the future. And when you talk about the main event, you got Merab versus Sean, the champion versus the number one contender in the bantamweight division. You couldn't make a better fight, and that's the fight everybody's been waiting for to see Merab and Sean. So it was a no-brainer for the main event.
Sugar's going to come out dressed like the most. That is going to be. Are the fighters utilizing the Sphere? I assume. Has there been any kind of conversation between fighters and UFC about how to utilize Sphere for entrance? Because I know entrances are a big deal for the UFC, as they should be, by the way.
The only fighter that's even seen what's going on inside the Sphere has been Sean O'Malley and Valentina. They both came and wanted to see it. And Sean hasn't seen it live. He just saw the room that I built here. I actually built the Sphere inside UFC headquarters. And so what's that?
Of course you did. Yeah, of course.
How big?
It's just a regular room like this, but we built it like the Sphere and laid the whole thing out. Instead of using whiteboard and things like that, I actually like to build the physical structures like this room that we're in all the time. This is the war room. And all the top 15 fighters in the world are here. We have the fight from September 14th this Saturday all the way to February 8th laid out. This is how I operate. This is the way I like to do it.
Okay, let's get back before we talk about what fights are already scheduled that you would like to announce on this beautiful Friday or not. Let's get back to the Sphere. So you just got LED boards all around. You walk into a Sphere room. Is that what you're referring to there?
No, we only have here at headquarters.
Yeah, the thing you built.
No.
What do you mean you built?
We have a TV in there that shows the whole inside of the Sphere with the octagon in it. And then all the walls have everything that will happen on Saturday night are on the walls in there. So I've walked some media through it. I walked our board of directors through it. They wanted to know where the 20 million went. And then, people like that.
Ari walks over there. Shapiro walks through there. 20 million bucks.
Yeah. Ari came by with the board of directors and Shapiro.
Everybody's pumped, I assume, with what you're about to pull off, obviously.
I'm not kidding you. Ari called me this morning and said, I haven't been this excited in a long time. Yeah, everybody over here is fired up, man. We know what we're going to deliver. We know what's going to happen tomorrow night, so everybody's really excited about it.
Probably when he got to walk into that one office with the Nerf gun, that was probably the last time he had been this excited.
Yeah.
Obviously, talking about Ari Gold from Entourage. Ty has a question for you, Dana.
Yeah, Dana, I know you don't give a shit about this, and really all you care about is, hey, we want to deliver the best possible product to the fans and everyone who's there. But have you mentally prepared yourself for the fact that, there's a chance you win either an Oscar or an Emmy for what is going to happen in the Sphere on Saturday?
And a Grammy.
Way to go.
Grammy, too. Yeah, throw that in. Tony.
No Tony. Trust me, I thought about the Tonys. I tried to figure out a Tony too, but yeah, all the music is original. Very talented people involved in this, and yeah. So her name is Jermaine Franco. I actually have her name right here, Jermaine Franco. She's a music producer and composer, and yeah, she's been nominated for a ton of stuff. She did the music for the Sphere on Saturday.
Oh, no, you just said you looked into the Tony. So you're legitimately qualified now because of everything that runs here, because you'll have a soundtrack for this. So that's a Grammy potentially, right? Soundtrack.
Yep.
And then it's a live event. So that's an Emmy, or what is that? Like
Yep. It's a live sporting event. That's an Emmy. And then we're filming a doc on the making of the Sphere. And that you can win an Oscar.
Oscar. Boom.
You're going to get an EGOT in one day. Let's go. Shouldn't it be a Tony as well? There's music. There should be.
Well,
feels like it should
if there was
be
a Tony, we'd have to be on Broadway for a Tony.
Is that how it works?
You're off Broadway. You're off Broadway by a few thousand miles. That's all. That's not that big of a deal.
I thought about it and tried to think, could we pull off that? No. We got enough shit to do on Saturday without trying to go to Broadway.
Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Dana, obviously you love setting the bar, and this is another thing that's just going to set the bar even higher. And you've said, like, hey, we're doing this once, we're not doing it again. You know, it's been obviously a long journey to get here. Have you thought about, kind of what you want to do after this, or is this kind of one of those things where, like, hey, I want to enjoy this, and then I want to just go back to the regular shit because of how much you've had to put in just to get this Sphere going?
Well, think about this. The way that this played out, Tom Brady hit me up and asked me if I wanted to go to U2, or I wouldn't even have gone to the Sphere. So I said yes. We went to U2. I'm sitting in there for like 45 minutes, and I'm, sort of taking this in. And Jim Dolan tours me around the place while U2's playing. And I went back up to my seat and I said, I'm doing this. I'm going to come in here and pull off the first sporting event ever. And everything just sort of aligned for that to happen. That was not in the plans this year for this to happen. It came up. So, no, I have no plans after Saturday, but who the hell knows? I'm going to tell you this. Monday, we're going to start planning what we do next year, for Mexican Independence Day. Where will it be? Will it be in Mexico? Will we do it in Texas, Arizona? I don't know. But, right here, right now, this is the one. Plus, the only reason this happened was Brady, and I got into a huge beef with MGM. And I'm contracted with MGM. And, I was so pissed off, I told them, release me from my contract for one fight to do the Sphere. And I'm going head to head with them tomorrow night. So, I would say it's a one and done, but anything is possible.
Thank you for being you, man.
Yeah.
It helps out a lot of us. It helps out a lot of us, Let me out. Going ahead. I got into a beef. I appreciate it. I don't know if you followed our story.
The MGM's been sticking it to me for years. For years.
We don't like
so
for years.
Finally, I
done with it.
And here we are.
Do you ever do stadiums? Have you ever done a stadium? Like WrestleMania, obviously. Go ahead.
We've done a few stadiums, but I don't like to take the in-house experience away from the fans. And stadiums are just too big for fighting, I think.
Gotcha. I can understand that. And because you go from no people in the what's it called there? The Apex, still using during COVID. We started it. Started an island in there. Feels like you've been able to have fights everywhere, but all of them feels like at the place, it is a awesome vibe. I've been to a few of your UFC events. It is energy throughout the entirety, even if it's 5 a.m. in England. It is, right. You create an incredible live event, boss, man. Legitimately, you should be proud of yourself. Can't wait to see what you do with the Sphere. Tone has a last question for you here.
Dana, we were just talking to Nick Saban. We were talking about how he never let himself really celebrate. It was a couple hours after a national championship, and he allowed him those hours, but then he was right back at it. 10 p.m. Pacific on tomorrow night. Will you allow yourself to kind of take it in and celebrate for a few hours before you get back into the swing of things?
So what we will do is when this thing is over, my production crew, I'm gonna let them take as much time off as they want. My production crew can take off. I literally Monday will start seriously talking about and booking where we're gonna do Nocha next year. Then Tuesday, I have the Contender Series on ESPN Plus. Then I jump on a plane and fly to Dublin, Ireland, where I'm pulling off a boxing match this weekend. And then the Anthony Joshua fight is Saturday in London. and then I'm coming back to Vegas, and then that leads us into what do we got next?
That's next Friday, yeah. Then you're at next Friday. Then, yeah.
We're on a treadmill here. It never ends.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Keep going, brother. We appreciate the hell out of you. Good luck this weekend. We can't wait to watch. We wish we could make it, but obviously it's in the middle of football season. Thought Mexican Independence Day was Cinco de Mayo. Turns out it's this weekend. Let's celebrate and enjoy it all with this man, ladies and gentlemen, President and CEO of UFC, Dana White. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, Dana.